everyone, I'm Andrew and I'm the marketing manager for Orion Protocol. And before we jump into our AMA, let's take a look through what we've achieved this month. So it's been an incredible month from both a development and awareness standpoint. The launch of Single Network View, which is one single view of assets right across all of the chains integrated into the terminal. We've had the launch of Orion Bridge V1, which is the first peer-to-peer atomic swap bridge, when the most secure bridge in market. The launch of Orion Bridge V2 occurred yesterday, and that has been integrated into Orion Terminal for near feeless trading of ERC20 assets. New assets have also been added to Orion Bridge already. Comp and Matic were added yesterday, with more to be added each week. We've also deployed our governance staking lockup, with staking unlock fees to be distributed to stakers to increase the governance APR. We'll touch more on this later on in the AMA, and as well as the governance fees finally. From an awareness standpoint, we were featured in the likes of Yahoo Finance, MarketWatch, Business Today, Benzinga and others. And our Orion Bridge release was actually picked up and shared by 321 publications in total. Meanwhile, social dominance was up 439%, social volume was up 116%, bullish sentiment on social up 138%, Twitter volume up 120%, and we became the top token on Lunar Crush by Galaxy Score. You all as a community play an integral role in this. The network effect is a powerful tool. We've seen so many of you tweeting and sharing, and we really do appreciate you doing so. And to those who aren't yet, let's remember how integral social sentiment is to the market, and how every tweet, post, share, video really does count. So on to our development AMA. Remember, we're answering your questions here. So if you'd like to discuss a certain topic, please make sure you submit your questions ahead of the AMA. We've grouped these into 5 sections, and the sections are Orion Bridge, new chain integrations, new assets and liquidity sources, governance and staking, and B2B solutions. So let's get started. We have our lead backend developer, Denis Zarabriansky, with us to answer all of these different questions that you've sent in. And the first question we have here is, a big hacking incident happened with Wormhole Bridge, resulting in the loss of funds around $300 million. So can the Orion community have assurance that it will not happen with your newly deployed product, Orion Bridge? It seems that it is not yet tested on a massive scale.
Hi Andrew, this is really important to highlight. Unlike other bridges that are susceptible to exploitation due to requiring minting and wrapping, Orion uses peer-to-peer atomic swap technology. Atomic swaps are automatic exchange contracts that allow two parties to immediately exchange two assets on different blockchains. On Orion Bridge, there is no wrapping or minting of assets ever, so we aren't prone to exploitation like multi-chain, wormhole and qubit. Instead, Orion Bridge enables immediate swapping of one L1 asset for another L1 asset. The atomic swap mechanism of Orion Bridge uses hash-time locked contracts. The output of transaction of the bridge can only be spent by the receiver broker if the sender user tells them the secret, and only within a certain time fixed in the transaction. If this does not happen within a specified period of time, then the user will be able to send the transaction for withdrawal. The one who creates this contract creates a secret without revealing it, and in this contract itself, only addresses A, B, hash, H of the secret and the period of time during which the contract can be opened using the secret are indicated. Users don't lose their ownership of their funds until they receive the corresponding assets on their chosen network, so neither party can cheat at any stage of transaction. Peer-to-peer enables true decentralization, the direct exchange of an asset between individuals without any involvement of a central authority. Unlike other bridges dependent on centralized exchange entities and validators, and therefore prone to 51% attacks and other vulnerabilities, Orion Bridge uses atomic swaps assets with only one counterparty, one of our growing network of brokers. As such, each user is an equivalent owner and contributor to the bridge, and this is only improved with more users. With transaction recorded on every peer's network, it's computationally impractical to overwrite or falsify transactions. Other bridges may currently offer more chains and assets, but leave their users vulnerable to loss and exploitation. What we are building lays the foundation for truly decentralized cross-chain trading without compromising assets. As Orion Bridge grows to include more assets and chains, and as other bridges continue to scout exploitation, we plan to become a leading cross-chain bridge in the market, eventually enable users to trade any assets across any chains without limits, delays, refused orders, or exploits.
Thanks for that, Dennis. For the next question, can you explain the meaning of cross-chain liquidity and settlement?
The meaning is very simple. You can now use your BCS balance to trade on CEXes, which initially do not support withdrawing funds to BCS wallets. The launch of KuCoin on BCS, an exchange that does not currently support BCS, is another step in this direction. The idea is pretty simple. Client places order using his BCS balance, aggregator routes his order on KuCoin, and broker actually executes this order on KuCoin. At this moment, the broker creates counter order from its balances. Aggregator creates a trade which changes client balance. Broker withdraws received assets from KuCoin to its BCS balance in batches. This is the crux of this task, and we have successfully solved it and deployed it yesterday.
That's great. Thanks a lot, Dennis. What other blockchains can we expect to be added into the Orion ecosystem prior to mainnet launch?
At the moment, we are concentrating on integration of Phantom. This is our priority, and the team is working very well on this. We expecting to complete the Phantom integration in the nearest future. There is no known barriers for now. Our current consideration is more focused on which assets we will be supporting from the Phantom chain. Phantom and several others in the pipeline are Ethereum-based blockchains and therefore EVM compatible. So our smart contracts and the infrastructure of the base services will be deployed seamlessly. Beyond that, we will be including our other chain partners such as Cardano, Avalanche, Hiko, Polkadot, and Elrond. Integration with other EVM blockchains is more of a routine than a serious technical challenge. Non-EVM compatible chains are more difficult but still in works.
Thank you for that answer, Dennis. The next question we have here is, will the ORN token be available on the Phantom blockchain? If so, can we stake ORN on the Phantom blockchain?
Yes, we are exploring this as a part of the integration.
That's excellent. What are the advantages from implementing a layer 2 like Matic Polygon?
L2 is primarily intended to reduce fees, which are currently extremely high on Ethereum. However, we are working to achieve this by other means, Orion Bridge for example, and L2 solutions have a number of drawbacks. For example, withdrawing tokens from Tier 2 bridges can take up to a week. We continue to explore L2 solutions like Polygon and will keep our community updated.
Thanks for that, Dennis. What is involved in adding new assets to the terminal, and what are the targets for the new asset and chain integrations? Is it 10 new assets per week and one chain per month? if the process is streamlined, can we expect an increase in the speed of the integrations?
We don't have a public target number, as this depends on a number of factors. Our latest CEX integration will bring dozens of new assets to the terminal, plus liquidity for existing assets. As Candix integration is completed and it's in the final stage of testing, we are going to release this in the nearest future. Meanwhile, we added 2 new assets to the bridge yesterday and will continue to add assets weekly.
That's great. Can you give an update on the integration of DEXs?
This is our priority task, but we are going to release VOP virtual order book first. These are close to deployment and one of the hardest things to work on to date. Via virtual order books, we can populate order books by liquidity from the complex swap for better price and negative spreads. For example, the Orion Ether order book will be populated by the liquidity of Orion USDT and Ether USDT order books by means of the complex swap. From the user point of view, virtual levels of liquidity will be no different than ordinary ones, but will increase the volume of liquidity on the pairs, reduce the spread to negative, and simplify the tracking of the arbitrage. From the technical perspective, virtual order books are fully redesigned of the splitting and routing system. Uniswap version 2 integration has not been so simple. As Boris said, it's less about the integration itself, but the homogenization of order book alongside centralized order books. Virtual order books also will more efficiently enable us to integrate order books of swap pools, hence why we are deploying this first. After we complete it, we will be able to integrate other Uniswap forks quickly and almost for free.
Thanks for that, Dennis. Another question is, are the staking fees that are collected distributed directly to the holders, or does this happen on a special day?
As the market increasingly moves to the Vinomics model of incentivizing and rewarding long-term staking, we will be launching a progressive staking scheme, incentivizing long-term staking with the higher APRs. In the meantime, governance APR will be increasing as of next week. The Orion collected from the stake unlock fees and governance pool fees will be added to governance APR weekly.
Following on for that, for full transparency, could you explain what happened with the governance vote, ORN tokens, and early investors, please?
Orion began its transition to becoming a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization, to enable ORN holders to determine the future of Orion and govern the protocol through voting by stakers. The end result means that the community voted in favor of removing bonus tokens amount to 6.9 million Orion, 7%, which was permanently removed from the total supply. This event was the first several governance voting procedures that will be in place.
Moving on, what will be the next B2B solution you will aim to launch?
We have several solutions in works right now. The Wallet Swap SDK, which we have spoken about quite extensively, is awaiting the Phantom integration into Orion terminal. This will serve as an infrastructure to bring Orion liquidity to millions of wallet users. The white label DEX has been built and created for a major centralized exchange and is ready for launch, in line with the CEX's launch plans. We are, however, going to continually update the interface in line with the next terminal redesign, so white label DEX is not only unique and powerful in its offering decentralized access to CEX liquidity, but with an incredible UI UX. Another solution we have not yet shared, but close to deployment, is Orion Widget, which will enable sites like CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko to allow trading directly from their site.
Thanks for that, Dennis. And the next question we have here is, smart contracts are susceptible to attacks and projects fall victim to these exploitations, costing users money and project discrediting. How reliable and secure is your project? Have you tested it well enough to withstand attacks?
Orion uses secure smart contracts to carry out trades through our decentralized brokerage. We are repeatedly audited by the industry standard of 30K, both of terminal itself, staking, and everything connected to Orion. This ensures Orion is safe to use in all circumstances. Orion is one of the highest 30K security audited projects with a score of 96 out 100.
That's a great score. Why is the project not open source and findable on GitHub?
Although Orion will be entirely open source, we have private GitHub repositories for the time being while we're working on new solutions yet to be released. What we are building and deploying, decentralized centralized liquidity, atomic swap bridge and virtual order books and more, is all proprietary technology unique to us. We don't want to share this complete inner workings of all of this until our solution is more established in market.
Right. And finally, when can end users expect the release of Orion's mobile app, and what kind of features can we look forward to?
Before deploying a mobile app, we are updating and optimizing the terminal itself. This is currently being redesigned by Helios, and we plan to start implementation of the new design this week. Once this has been deployed, we can finalize and launch our mobile app.
So that's it from all of us for this DevMA, and I'd just like to thank Dennis again for coming on and answering all of your different questions. We're working on some amazing stuff during the week, both in different content that we're putting out and all the developers and all the additions that they're making behind the scenes. You know, we have the redesign of the terminal, which was mentioned as well by Helios, which is going to be absolutely mind-blowing. And keep an eye out this week for more information on our mainnet staking. We're going to be having some more news on that this week. So thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next time.